afternoon. We take you straight to the action at Nasrec, where we understand ANC NEC members are huddled in meetings to discuss the issues raised by the Phala Phala report and the consequences it holds for President Cyril Ramaphosa. This is ahead of that expected vote around whether the impeachment process should continue in the National Assembly tomorrow. Our senior political reporter Ziyanda Ngcobo at Nasrec for you. Ziyanda, good afternoon to you. What's happened there so far today?
Well, Stephen, thankfully, we got to see some of those ANC NEC members during the photo opportunity. And interestingly, there was some load shedding whilst we were busy taking visuals of those leaders. Quite a funny situation, I might say, especially because Gwedeman Dashe, who you'll know, he's the Minister of Minerals and Energy, his face quite an interesting expression there. But certainly one person who wasn't a part of today's meeting is one President Cyril Ramaphosa. He was recused from the meeting in the same way he was during the National Working Committee's meeting to allow for this discussion to happen without fear or favor. Let's listen to what Phala Phala had to say about the President leaving the gathering.
When we discuss Integrity Commission's reports, individuals who are affected by those reports are usually asked to be recused from such sittings. Those of you who covered our past National Executive Committee would have witnessed this. The National Chair, as well as Comrade Thabang Makwetla, would have been recused from that NEC, especially when that item was being discussed.
So, Stephen, the importance of this meeting, and what this NEC decides is so critical because it will give out the marching orders for the members of Parliament in the ANC caucus. In fact, we know now that National Assembly Speaker Nosiviwe Mapisa-Nqakula will not allow for a secret ballot. In fact, she's now really the custodian of what happens next year in terms of the processing of that Section 89 report. Phala Phala saying that basically it's quite opportunistic for opposition parties to try and have had this, ballot on whether or not there should be an impeachment committee or a committee to have the president removed from office. And you'll recall in 2017, the likes of Mondli Gungubele imploring ANC MPs to vote with their conscience. One wonders if he would still feel the same about this happening with President Cyril Ramaphosa now that the shoe is on the other foot. So let's hear what Phala Phala has to say about what opposition parties have tried to do.
There is a very, and it's a very interesting, dubious understanding from political parties that if we do secret ballot, people might vote with their conscience and sell out their parties. Agirbanna. You were voted by 7 people. Why do you think that you'll get more votes? Stick to your 7. You want new people through a secret ballot? No. Let your 7 vote for you. Because this one of wanting secret ballot is to believe that you can get extra. South Africans went to the polls and gave you 7 seats. It means you have got 7 votes. You need a secret ballot because in your own imaginary thing, you might get extra votes. No. I don't know why the Speaker exercised a discretion in that way, but I'm just saying political parties have to start being alive to the fact that the size of their majority is what they received at the polls.
So, Ziyanda, we'll obviously watch that debate play out tomorrow. More on the developments on that in a moment. But first, the balance of forces in the NEC at the moment. How do you assess it?
Everything happening right now, Stephen, is based on timing. It's based on considerations of specific individuals in the room, and it's also based on what is possible or impossible within a specific time frame. What am I talking about? I'm talking about the fact that next week is when that elective conference gets underway, and I'm talking about the fact that, for an example, someone like Dr. Zweli Mkhize, who, if he were to push for the president to resign on the basis of, bringing the organization into disrepute, it will also automatically invoke, his removal from the NEC because of the digital vibe saga. Critical here is the fact that, one, the Integrity Commission has not completed its report into the Phala Phala incident, but two, there are many who are saying that the legal process should be allowed to unfold before making a move, and that the president has not formally been charged. This report uses the words such as may have a case to answer. The president is also taking this matter, to the Constitutional Court, seeking direct access at the Apex Court. And so, from those who are not necessarily big fans or detractors of the president, they've said that part of their strategy was not to push too hard, both at the NWC, but as well as in today's meeting, because they still believe that they have a fighting chance once this conference gets ahead. And if they were to say the president resigns, it could put the possibility of going to conference at risk. There are also some within the NEC, Stephen, who are also alive to the fact that the face of President Cyril Ramaphosa is one that is necessary for the 2024 polls, but they may not necessarily not necessarily wanting the slate that has been put forward by his Renew 22 campaign team. And then, of course, those in who have now become a minority within the NEC, those are the staunch RET supporters, such as Tony Yengeni, who have publicly expressed they are wanting the president to step aside. So it's process, it's timing, and it's also a matter of how much can be done before that 55th National Conference.
Ziyanda Ngcobo, thank you very much indeed. Our senior political reporter, part of our team for you at Nasrec, as that NEC meeting continues. Well.